Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to the first race of the Super Metroid Randomizer League Season 4 Finals. We have V.I.L.P.L.U.M.E versus the Chicago Bullies in Game 1, or technically Game 2, depending on who you ask. Dash Recall. Uh, Professor School for V.I.L.P.L.U.M.E and Stachio Cat for the Chicago Bullies. I'm Tunes Cartridge, and I am joined here by Ace Zero. How are you doing, Ace?
I'm doing great, MM2. Definitely excited for this race. Excited to watch great runners compete here, and in a really neat, exciting mode that just debuted this season, and is still relatively new. So it's nice to see how these races can play out with all those new settings.
Yeah, this is a new creation by Kip and the Dash team, released just a couple months ago, just in time for League, and we've been getting to play it quite a bit. The Varia players, this is the mode they play in the first three. So for those who don't know, every match in playoffs is a best of five between the two teams. Teams are three players, and each player had a suit designation that was decided prior to the start of the season. There's a power suit, Varia suit, and a gravity suit players. The Varia suit's mode is dash recall, so the second game, quote unquote, even though it doesn't have to be played in order, will always be dash recall, and it will always be these two players. So they have presumably been practicing quite a bit of this mode, and we'll get to see how all that practice pays off.
Yeah, practice, especially with the new mode like this, is really important. Just to see how items can shake out, and just what tricks you learn, what you need to focus on. And that's the interesting thing with this matchup too, that especially with Professor School being relatively new to Randomizer compared to a lot of people in this tournament, extremely talented vanilla SM player, relatively new, has spent a lot of time in this mode to learn this one specifically. Uh, we'll see how that pays out. Stachio Cat obviously also considered by a lot of people a vanilla main player. Really strong execution, and I'm excited to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, Prof played mostly vanilla SM up until a couple months ago when he was introduced to Super Metroid Rando at Speed Gaming Live 2022, and then played a crap ton of it. And then when Dash Recall was released, he was designated the various suit player by his team, and then has spent the past couple months grinding Dash like nobody else. He's played a ridiculous amount of seeds, knows all the intricacies of this Rando. I'm sure he's got like at least 5 spreadsheets about it, and yeah, he'll be playing this mode just like another seed, but you could say it's the most important one of all. But yeah, so we've got high jump boots in the ceiling, morph at morph. We've got missiles and power bombs available. So interesting. Okay, so we've got some divergence early. With no supers available, Prof is going to elect to take the more common. Okay, never mind. Okay, both runners are going to take the more common route of not doing meme route without supers. I saw Stasio lay the power on and was like, alright, we're doing superless meme route. It's it's defensible play, but it's not fantastic because if you don't get supers within 3 minor checks, you have to skip Wavegate or spend 30 years to come back for it, and that's generally not good.
Yeah, the fact that there are multiple items that can open up Waterway, since Spazer and Speed Booster both open that up, kind of is good and bad for doing the meme route. I mean, it can be bad because it gives you more chance of getting Spazer, like say up here in Criteria, and then taking it down to Waterway. But also just easier to get back to in general later if you find that. I think
Yeah.
it's a good call though to skip the meme route without supers. Of course, they find supers immediately after, so.
Yeah, just in Dash Recall, we're not going to have any designed ammo hunts by the randomizer, unlike some certain Varia progression speeds. But yeah, now we're going to be heading to Bomb Chorizo. High jump boots, messing up a little bit of the runner's muscle memory from vanilla. You do all these rooms with no high jump so much, and then you have to do it with high jump and a rando. And it's like, what the heck am I doing? This is ridiculous. Heat Shield at Bomb Torizo. So, obligatory explanation for those who don't know, Heat Shield is one of the 3 custom items the Dash Recall implements. It's a baby version of the Varia suit. It provides full heat protection in Upper Norfair, 50% heat reduction in Lower Norfair, and it does not provide any damage reduction. So it's like Varia Light, but yeah. And then there's two other baby items introduced by Dash Recall. Those are the pressure valve and the double jump. Pressure valve is a baby version of the gravity suit. No damage reduction. Provides vanilla physics, non-water physics, I should say, in West Meridia and Shack Tools area and the Plasma Beach area, but not in East Meridia. And then the double jump just does what it says on the tin. It's space jump, but only once.
And Plasma Beam is interesting. The other thing, in addition to these new items you're talking about, MM2, the beam combo damage is adjusted for charge beam upgrades, with the number in the top right being their current damage with the beam that is equipped. Additional charge upgrades will increase that, and in most cases, getting other beam upgrades, like adding ice and wave, would add your damage just like vanilla, but once you get plasma, that's the damage.
Yeah.
So only the charge upgrades will increase that, but still, that's a pretty hefty amount of damage to start.
Yeah. We got pressure valve, so this is going to be an interesting race.
Okay.
But yeah, Plasma Beam is heavily nerfed from its vanilla capabilities. Even the uncharged Plasma Beam is nerfed. So they will only be doing 100 damage a shot, as opposed to the 150 that vanilla provides, and then they won't be adding any damage by charging their beam at this point, but as they get charge upgrades, that could change. So Stachio off to a little bit of a linear lead at the beginning, both runners taking the same route, just due to Prof having a little bit of a difficulty at getting Alcatraz, but he will be able to recover from that fine, as he has demonstrated, and we'll continue on the race.
Yeah, both runners still grabbing these missiles because of the way the charge upgrades work, and like you said, the nerfed plasma adds a little bit more value to ammo packs. They're never necessary, but they tend to speed you up a little bit more than in a lot of settings.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense, grabbing those missiles there.
Yeah, also Dash changes the ammo distribution a tiny bit from what people might be used to from Varia. Supers are a bit more rare, and power-ups are a tiny bit more common. So, supers are generally, they're already an always pickup item for the most part, but now you might be looking a bit more for supers if you really need them, but we'll see what happens. Stachio on 0 supers right now. He's going to have to find a super before Wavegate, so we'll see if he can manage to route that in. Oh, there's one. Nice.
That's very fortunate. And luckily, too, the high jump boots, at least for most players, makes that gate glitch for Wavegate a little bit easier. So hopefully Stachio can get it without too much trouble. And Prof also getting the same super drop, even though he didn't need it quite as bad. Very nice.
Nice.
Yeah, so with both the pressure valve and the Various suit, that's an interesting combination early. I think the Various suit obviously kind of indicates maybe going down first, but then the pressure valve showing up maybe counters that.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I would say
to go up.
I would say both runners are likely to go down, especially with 2 E-tanks now that Stachio's got a second one from Wavegate. The goal of going down in Dash Recall is to be able to do Norfair in one trip. That's the big goal of Dash. If you can do that, you save a fair chunk of time on routing. And Prof, I know, has stress tested every single type of suitless lower Norfair loadout he can come up with. So he knows what he needs for LN, and he knows when he can't do LN and when he can. So I would wager we'll see Prof go down, and Stachio might go up, maybe to try to create divergence from Prof. Might also go down. Could consider a Meridia play, if he really wanted to. But pressure valve Meridia is just so awkward to route in that I doubt Prof is going to do pressure valve Meridia. Stasha might though. We'll see.
Yeah, the pressure valve Meridia, the big appeal of that is that it helps make suitless Meridia a much more viable play instead of seeking out gravity in an awful location. But it does still have Plasma Beam and Shack Tool as still kind of the slowest checks in the game as far as the majors go, and then having to decide to leave those or pick them up and route in the slow checks at a race is always difficult to pick.
Yeah, and Prof. Interesting. Getting in an extra CAC farm there with going under New Bridge for an extra CAC, and we will be seeing early X-ray from Stasio, and I expect the same from Prof. Got power on selected. Yep, we're going to X-ray. The double early X-ray tech. So yeah, just watch the runners execute this fairly difficult trick. Stasio's going excellent so far. Prof maybe a little bit of a rough start. Stasio gets it. Very nice. And there's the Varia suit. Prof gets it as well. Okay. Excellent. Excellent from both runners.
Right, well, I think that decides the up or down decision, and they're going to be going down. Lower number is already viable. 3-tank lava dive with high jump boots is not... It's not free if you don't know what you're doing, but these two are not going to have a problem with that. That's standard GT Classic fare, or rather easier than GT Classic for a lot of loadouts.
Yeah, some GT Classic runners do opt to take all three available tanks prior to lava dive, but
some crazy ones don't even take the high jump boots.
Yeah, that's true. Prof does have a 34:59 with high jump boots in GT Classic though, which is quite an impressive time. Stasio, I don't think he's run it. I can't remember Stasio having a GT Classic time, but who knows? And now we'll see the Spacer check, and then likely Kraid. Worth noting that in Dash Recall, Kraid E-Tank is no longer a major item because Kip said it be so. I don't know. It's a balance change.
I think that's a really good balance change. To be honest, Kraid's layer, you're gonna check it every single time. It's so free that having two major items there it doesn't add a lot of interesting routing options. So making it just one major item that's essentially free on the boss, and the other one, just to take a little bit of value out of there and be able to move that to another location, since there were a few other majors added in the game at Sky Missiles and Watering Hole. Am I forgetting one?
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse. Thank you. I knew there was another one I couldn't think of for a sec.
Yeah. I think Kraid E-Tank is really interesting to have as a major in area boss rando, since you won't be able to come back for it you won't be able to do it every single time, but it can also incentivize certain plays in certain situations and blah, 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 balanced talk. But in vanilla map, it does just incentivize going down a fair bit, so taking it out it's not a bad call. I think it's fine. And with Plasma only dealing 100 instead of 150, those canners do not die in a single plasma shot, which was really annoying the first time I played a Dash seed. But then you get used to it and you just mess along.
Yeah, that's the interesting about some of these changes for the Dash Recall mode, is if you're not accustomed to them, you expect things to work a certain way, and especially when it comes to like lower Norfair movement, you can really get in trouble if you're expecting to do like KPDR Key Hunter strats and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Double jumps nice to have for at least a handful of like lower Norfair rooms it'll be useful in.
Yeah, double jumps it's a really nice item, and we might be coming close to a loadout that could feature a certain type of wall jumping that I will keep unnamed for now. We'll see if underwater wall jumping comes up.
I
Okay, I lied.
I'm getting excited for it already.
Yeah,
as someone who just learned it very recently.
yeah. As one of the pioneers of it, Prof has put so much time into it recently. Like, he said he like got like somewhere over like 50 successful reps like last week or something. But yeah, he's grinded it out. If he goes for it, I have no doubts in his ability to succeed at the tech.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of. I would assume Stasio knows it as well, and it for a lot of runners recently, since this has come up and started to pick up some steam, it's just a matter